TempahZone. How's it going, everybody? Wherever you're listening to this podcast right here, this is episode 82 of the TempahZone podcast with your host, me, Amir Max, and that's all facts. My guest with me today is Nick Torch, right by my side. Nick, how's it going, man?
You know how it's going, baby.
You need no introduction, by the way. Let me just say that. Nick has been on this podcast so many times. It's like, all right, Nick Torch is back. Once again, my dog right here. Y'all already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really don't need an introduction at this point, man. People should know.
All right. I appreciate that.
Man, this is clear air on that, though, man.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man. What's good, though? How you feeling? in the state of the country right now.
Anxiety is one word that comes to mind.
That should be the name of the episode. Anxiety.
Anxiety. Just existential dread.
Yeah, man. From both ends, I feel everybody's anxious, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah, man. So what do you like? What do you think people are trying to do right now just to cope?
Well, thankfully, there's plenty of good streaming content out there.
That's
so
true,
I'm gonna
man.
start with the good and then finish on the ugly of what people are doing. You know, as someone who has dealt with anxiety disorder and depression for the majority of my life, I totally understand how things are amplified for people like myself, and also people that have never experienced that feeling of panic and anxiety and depression before, but because of this pandemic are feeling it for the first time well into their adulthoods.
Yeah.
And that can be scary. So like,
For real, man.
and you know, a lot of people are for the first time in their lives like, how the hell do I cope with this?
Yeah.
They don't know because they've never experienced it before. But the reality is it is what it is. So I feel like, you know, a lot of people are, you know, just passing the hours, minutes, and days by streaming massive amounts of movies and shows, binge watching things.
That's for real, bro.
Seriously. And then on top of that, I feel like people are, you know, listening to a lot of music and just trying to, you know, find things to do besides their occupation or their education, you know, to keep themselves occupied,
just busy, man.
and busy. That's what it comes down to. And then, of course, the negative things are a lot of people are not coping well with things, both because of the pandemic and because of the current political climate and racial tension, so and various other social issues. But the pandemic has really just put an exponent on anxieties and worries that were already there. So, you know, unfortunately, people are, you know, just drowning themselves out in either, you know, the booze or something else. Which, you know, it's a sad reality, but.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, we just sipping just cuz, but, you know, there's people out here who really are going through it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there's people out here who are really, you know, feeling it from these times. And, you know, and I know a lot of people when it comes to, like, who's the president, like, well, I don't affect, like, what I do or who I am and, you know, the change that, you know, like, it doesn't bring any change in my world. But it's like, nah, like, voting does bring change. Like, there's a local, stuff to it as well. Like, if you really look, I mean, like, I'm not, you know, this ain't no CNN. This is TempahZone podcast. I ain't saying, you know, this ain't no news network like that. But, you know, but what I will say is that, you know, who is the president and, you know, what does go on in the government and politics does matter, all right? Whether you don't realize it or not, it does matter. But I just want to, you know, make that clear because I really think a lot of people don't like, man, people just stressing about like, oh, vote this and all this stuff going on. Like this, that don't matter, man. I'm going to live my life and do my thing and get, I get, that's like, you're not seeing everything for what it is. It's like, first of all, buddy, like there's two things on my mind right now. It's this pandemic and global warming, you know? And a lot of people are looking, you know, I feel like they're just looking at, you know, all these other stuff. And I'm like, we need to look at this, you know, because I feel like at the end of the day, our health matters. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, we should be 6 feet apart right now, but we're not. You know, we just sit close by, you know, technically, but it's like, we good, you know, we're fine. Yeah. But it's like, you know, like, there's just so much stuff to worry about right now. And that's so much more important than, like, so much other stuff, you know what I mean? Like, it's our health. I worry about, like, you know, my health, you know, like, and, you know, I see global warming happening. It's like, yo, man, like, you know, that's stressing me out too. And I'm hoping the powers that be can take care of that, man, because the old people aren't going to care.
No, they don't give a shit because it's not going to affect them in the long run. You know, I forget where it was. I think it might have been John Mulaney's SNL monologue this past weekend.
Mm-hmm. I didn't get to see that, man. He's funny. He's a funny dude, man.
I love John Mulaney, and he said something like, "We have to choose between two old guys. One old guy is gonna win, and the other will lose.
Yeah,
but like, either way." And he made this like long convoluted joke out of it, as only he can do. Yeah. And he was talking about how his 94-year-old grandmother went out and voted, and he was like, "What the hell is the punchline?" He's like, "You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get to, like bet on the table if you're about to walk away."
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
It was something like that. I forget exactly what it was, but it was funny as hell, obviously, and it was just like, yeah, you know, why are you voting on stuff that like is not going to affect you?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. You know, it's, you know, I don't want to spend too much time on, you know, talking about anything too political because, like, you know, we're not, you know, the experts on it, but, you know, we're old, you know, we've been older enough, and we've, you know, this is not our first go around voting, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like for us, we've definitely learned more stuff and seen some more stuff, and I feel like, you know, from our perspective, it's definitely something to, you know, address. But like, you know, I want to get back to like kind of just like the whole like, you know who's in office doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, like, you know, regardless of who's president, like I'm not gonna let it, you know, weigh me down and help, you know, slow me down from what I'm doing. Of course not. But unfortunately, there's people out there who are like that, like who, you know, whoever is going to become president, you know, they like they let it weigh them down in this way that's just, you know, really weird. It's like, now that I'm like, all right, you got to do something about. Like, that shouldn't be the case, you know?
No. And the thing that really, that I find humorous when it shouldn't be funny, but it is, is that no matter which side of the fence you're on, whenever the opposing side wins an election, everyone acts like it's the end of the world.
Literally,
and
it's
then,
so true. Yeah.
And then guess what happens? Virtually nothing changes.
That's what I'm saying.
On a fundamental level,
nothing changes.
You're really not affected. No. On a very broad level. You know, of course, there's little nuances, you know, between whether there's a Democrat or Republican in power. Of course.
Yeah.
There's peripheral, you know, issues that will either be addressed or won't be addressed. But at the core of it, though, when Obama was elected twice, on both of those elections, people were like, this is it. We're done. We're going to get taxed into oblivion. Guess what? You're still here.
Yeah.
Nothing bad happened.
Yeah, like you might.
Nothing bad happened.
Everything's all good with you, right? Yeah, you know, people still around. You still making money. Like, you know what I mean?
Seriously.
Like,
And with Trump being elected in 2016, I'll be honest, I truthfully thought that things were going to go down the drain. Mm-hmm. And in a lot of ways, yeah, they did. But again, on that broader level,
coronavirus happened. Yeah. I feel like that like defined his presidency. You know, this all happening. You know, I really feel like the way he, you know, handled it all is a lot of people, you know, are going to look at that and be like, all right, the way he handled it was terrible. I'm not voting for him, or it's like, how else could he have handled it? I'm still with him, you know, or I am going to be with him. You know what I mean? So those are the both ways that I've been seeing at it. And that's why I say like that has defined his presidency. You know what I'm saying? And so I think
similar to how
9/11
with George and Katrina with George Bush too.
Yeah. I mean, like there's certain things that just happen with a president, you know, that just, you know, kind of like, you know, defies, you know, what, you know, their presidency, you know, entailed, you know what I mean? From what I've seen, but I don't really know what like Obama was, but I know obviously when it comes to like drone strikes and stuff. That's what people say. That's like the stain on Obama's, presidency. That's the only thing that people can say about Obama.
Seriously,
that's bad, honestly,
because
from what I've researched.
Exactly, and I agree because, like ultra conservative people, when he was up for election, both times were like way too focused on him being like a socialist. They're going to take my guns away. They're going to blah, 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 blah. The healthcare is broken. First of all, Trump didn't get rid of Obamacare.
You can't unwrite
he talks
years of
so
work.
much shit
And that's
about
the thing,
that.
And that's the thing I think people have to understand too. There's so much stuff that like it's hard for these, these presidents do the same thing. The elections come around all the time, and it's the same thing. These presidents are promising stuff, and most of it doesn't get done. It's funny how people bug out about stuff, which is why like at the end of the day, it's all about like more local stuff. You know what I mean? Like the local stuff is what you're really gonna feel, and I think that that's more important. Not too many things go federal. A lot of things are on like a state level. So I think a lot of people got to focus on that, and I feel like it's said so much, and people just don't bat an eye at it. You know what I mean? Not many people, but that's just one thing I'll say on that. But to be honest with you, I don't want to talk about the election anymore. I'm done with that. I feel like I said everything I need to say on it, and I honestly feel this will probably be the last episode we will get into politics like this. But not too far off from it, something that's definitely I feel like we should talk about is Oregon. Decriminalizing all the drugs, man. I honestly have not read into it exactly. But like, what does that like mean? Did you look into it at all? What is like criminalizing all drugs?
My understanding of it was, and I did actually look into it a little bit, and found out like a couple of the actual, criteria of the law that was passed. And you're right, it does relate to the election because that was on their ballot.
Yeah, that's how it went.
And that was a big question for them. I mean, that's huge. Like that's history making right there.
Yeah, man, because that's just gonna trickle down.
Yeah, but again, my understanding of it was, I know, trafficking still very illegal. Like dealing drugs illegal, but possession of it, like if you're a heroin addict and for some reason you get stopped and they find, a personal amount of heroin on you, you won't be arrested. You'll be given $100 ticket.
Okay. Yeah.
So similar to when a lot of states started decriminalizing marijuana, it was $100 fine.
Yeah.
But you weren't arrested and it wouldn't go on your record. It was basically the equivalent of a parking ticket.
Okay.
So that's what they're doing in Oregon right now. But with every major illicit drug, not just weed. So like coke, meth, heroin, fentanyl, all the big ones.
I mean, I've always agreed with that, man. I've always felt like the best way to like have people not do drugs is to legalize it, decriminalize it, whatever. Like I really think that's the way to go. You would see the war on drugs go down, but the thing about it is certain legal parts are making money off the war on drugs forever. So they can't just stop the war on drugs. Like that's the thing about this thing. It's hilarious. It's like obviously like it's better for the world if all drugs were legal. And like if you look at all examples, it literally shows that if you just legalize all drugs, it will be fine. Because like a lot of reason kids do anything
is because
like drugs is because it's illegal.
Yeah, exactly. It's because they're not allowed to.
Exactly.
It's because they're not supposed to. Again, think about it. Like people think that if you legalized or decriminalized every drug, that everyone would become an addict. Yeah, the streets would be running rampant. Blah blah blah. No, you know what? People would just get a little bit more lax with it. Like dealers would. No, but again, like I said, dealing's still illegal. But like the drug seekers, the addicts who have a problem, they have a disease, an affliction, an ailment, they probably get a little more brazen with their efforts to acquire those substances. But the fact remains, even these substances are illegal now in almost the entire world, not just this country. But
Unless you go to like I feel like the Netherlands is legal and like Portugal or something. I could be wrong with Portugal,
but still, people will always find a way
to get drugs,
drugs.
And that's the thing. I got like, you know, when they made alcohol illegal back in the 1920s, man, it just spawned the whole mafia and Al Capone and all that stuff. Like prohibition, that's literally where it all came from. Like there's just some things you can't stop. You cannot stop drugs. You just can't. Like people are going to get drugs.
Prohibition was a shining example of that.
Like it's been that way forever. Like you go back in time, like people were doing shrooms. Like
the Vikings.
That's what I'm saying.
Did shrooms
it's just,
before battle.
You can't stop people from doing it. Like I never, you know, everything in moderation. You know, you gotta be smart in this world, and I think, you know, we gotta, you know, that's the expectations we have, and unfortunately, not everyone can, you know, it's not, you know, obviously I can if someone is against this or thinks this is crazy that Oregon would decriminalize this, I'm not gonna be like, how could you think that? Like I wouldn't be like, you know, I wouldn't be like so shocked by it, to be honest with you. And I'm, you know, I've definitely have talked to people about it before actually who, you know, we talked about it, and I was, you know, agree to disagree for sure on this. I mean, I'm not gonna get mad about anyone opposing, but I just really think it's, you know, something that people gotta look into, like, you know, the history of drugs and, you know, get your brain out of the say no to, you know, all this stuff that you had, you know, grown up thinking about, you know, just, you know, drugs, because they you know, they want to, you know, paint, you know, like hallucinogenics, like they have so much medicinal properties to it, you know. If you do it right,
PTSD, you know? under a doctor's supervision, like again, like it's subjective. It definitely is.
No, definitely, man.
And I understand why people are appalled by a decision like.
Well, because, dude, you know, a lot of people consume information from places that everyone else does when there's other right sources that don't get no light. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many right sources, but they don't get light because they just don't. And, like, and I'm keeping that as broad and vague as possible because it's just a truth when it comes to like certain information out here. And I think that's one of those things. It's like, you know, they want you to think certain things are bad for you. It's like, it's not really. It's just if you do it, if you take too much of it, obviously you're going to mess you up. But everything in moderation, like I said, you know.
I mean, dude, look at cigarette ads all throughout the 20th century. They were like. Number one doctor recommended cigarette is Camel.
Ease your stress.
It's like
that was literally the
doctors recommend it was the tagline sometimes. Doctors recommend Camels over Marlboro and blah blah blah.
Yeah, because not everything that's the popular commercial is the truth. Like not everything you see is true. Like, you know, y'all ain't seen The Matrix. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't that if that isn't a statement that is the epitome of the 21st century, especially the 2010s.
And deep fakes and shit. Like,
dude, it's like, you can't believe everything you say now.
AI, like, it's getting crazy out here, bro.
Before it was take it with a grain of salt. Now it's take it with a slab of granite. Like, it's just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, man. We're seeing things unfold right in front of our eyes, man. I mean, you know. We're in a new decade, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're really in a new decade. You know? Like,
seriously.
You know? But
1980 was 20 years ago.
Yo, when people say that, it cracks me up because, like, I totally feel that. I'm like, no, double that. Like, goddamn.
It's like, dude, that was 40 years ago.
That's crazy to think, bro. Yeah, my brain, like it's definitely gotta, like, you know, adjust to all that stuff though. But like, but people still mess it up, and I don't blame them. You know what I mean? Like, I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah,
but
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, let's move on from you know, less serious topics. I mean, I'm really happy we addressed that because I just, you know, I feel like, you know, people are afraid to, you know, break down, you know, just the culture of drugs. You know what I'm saying? It's not as dark and gloomy as people think it is. In terms of like the, you know. Just in terms of like, you know, when it comes to like, you know, using it recreationally, I guess, you know, like there are recreational ways people go about it and they're just fine. You know, obviously people, you know, there's overdosing and, you know, there's definitely problems that there are out there. But if you look at the positives, it's like what Oregon did. I totally get it. So, you know, I'll definitely leave it on that note.
Definitely. And can I just say one more thing about this?
One more. For sure.
Is that now because of this, people with serious addictions, instead of being thrown in jail for their addiction, they'll be just given a ticket.
And that's
being thrown into a jail cell is not going to help. It's not helping anyone. It's not helping the problem at its core. People, like we said before, people are gonna do it no matter what. No matter what laws are in place, they're gonna do it, and they're gonna acquire it. And I think it's just, I think it's gonna be the start of a lot of changing ideologies.
Prison reform and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean it's literally this the beginning of something that's gonna really lead to more good. I
hope so.
I see.
I can't say that with certainty, but I agree with you. I certainly hope that's.
I hope
that's the direction that it takes.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely, man. I agree with you there, man. Let's move on to let's see. Let's move on to Chris Rock, man. He said something that has nothing to do with politics, so we're gonna move away from that. He's nothing to do with comedy. He's actually talking about rap, and Chris Rock, he had the movie Top 5. It wasn't really that popular, so he has like a good rap opinion. I do trust what he says, but he is an old head. So him saying this, he said that rappers today aren't making album experiences like Kendrick Lamar. I love Kendrick Lamar. He's like, top 5, one of my favorite artists ever, one of my biggest influences.
Right, like how could he not be?
I love Kendrick. You know what I mean? Hey, you'd be surprised how many artists I haven't heard say, Kendrick's one of their artists they look up to. So, because there's a lot of young guys out here, they don't look up to Kendrick. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of the 18, 19-year-olds don't look up to Kendrick like, 24, 25-year-olds do. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised who the young guys look up to, Nick.
They look up to...
They're looking up to Roddy Ricch now. They're looking up to the Baby now. Like, then, we don't look up to them. I like those artists. Don't get me wrong.
That's the thing.
But like, you're not looking up to them. But it's just, I think it's an age thing, man.
I think, and I agree. We saw
age and
seriously,
it plays such a big part into who you listen.
Even though we're also sort of part of the same generation, if not right on the line.
Yeah, we really are. Yeah.
Between Gen Z and millennial, me and you made the cutoff. Yeah. I think
we might be Gen Z.
We might be like
right on the we're it's borderline.
We're like a pubic hair's length away.
Whatever. Yeah. Because I know I guess
I have
way
such
to say
a way
Gen
with
Z,
words.
Though. No, but that's a good comparison though. A good way to.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
It was funny at least. But yeah, man, what do you think of what Chris Rock said though? Do you think like from what you've seen in the last from the last time Kendrick dropped album, which Kendrick dropped the album Damn. In 2017 till now, you don't think anyone has dropped like a experience in an album? Like I haven't even like written down or thought about like what albums in the last 3 years have like been like a story like that, but there definitely has been, Like Denzel Curry's doing it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I remember you was conflicted.
That's what I'm saying. Like when he says like Kendrick made experiences like off of To Pimp a Butterfly. I remember who was conflicted, misusing your influence. Sometimes I did the same. Like like that wasn't even like a song off the album. It was just a little skit he put at the end. Like so I understand where Kendrick's coming from. I mean Chris Rock's coming from, but
yeah, definitely.
I gotta disagree with it, man. I
do too, and I have a few examples that I can think of. But the thing is, they're not that mainstream compared to Kendrick.
And that's the thing, too.
And Kendrick is an impressive example of a mainstream artist because you don't see quality like that in most mainstream artists. You mostly just see quantity and catchiness. But Kendrick somehow manages...
the big one or two songs, maybe.
Yeah. But, like, people listen to him. And one other thing about, like, the age gap thing, Good Kid, Mad City and To Pimp a Butterfly came out at times where 24, 25, 26-year-olds, 24-year-olds like you and myself, they came out at times that were pivotal for us and for our musical endeavors and journeys and the influences in general that we took on and put into our own music. They came out at such pivotal times for us.
Seriously, yeah.
And so I think that even though it's a few years difference between teenagers and mid-20-year-olds, I think that makes all the difference because we appreciate we really truly appreciate the storytelling and the poeticism of an album like To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, Damn, things like that. And
even some people would throw Section 80 up in there, yo.
I would. I would. I think he's just Kendrick is just.
It's hard to compare any artist to Kendrick. And I think that's the other thing what
Cole,
Chris Rock says.
Yeah,
and I think he mentioned J. Cole as well, but it's like, fam, like Kendrick is like once in a blue moon type rapper. Like you don't get like guys like Kendrick too often, man. Like Kendrick is in top 10, top 20s now. Like what? Like what? The only artist that's like that right now is Drake, but that's just because of his like. It wouldn't even say the rapping part. Like Drake's, I love Drake, I love his rapping, but I feel like it just comes down to the fact of the popularity. Because we all know Drake's more popular than Kendrick. That's just like like that's a fact and a half. But like definitely. Kendrick is like in top 10s. Drake ain't in no top 10s. No. Drake in top 20s.
No.
Just because of popularity. But ain't nobody putting Drake in a top 10. I haven't heard it. I've never heard anyone put Drake in the top 10.
Me neither. And if I maybe, and I say that very, very, very hesitantly, when he put out his first two albums, first mixtape and then first album, Drake, I thought, he was hungry. Yeah. He was really hungry at the start. And now but he doesn't have to be now, though.
Nah, you can't really blame him. I mean, he's literally...
Why would you?
Like, the only place he can really go is like, I mean, he's like the top of the top right now. I don't see anybody, like Drake's number one. Like, it's just that simple, you know what I mean? Like, and not even just rap. I'm talking about just all, like, all ways you look at it. Music-wise, like, I feel like...
He's conquered pop.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And hip-hop. But again, like, it just takes on and absorbs different things. This idea of pop, like, and so that makes it harder to compare similar artists that you would have thought would be easy to compare, but then you delve a little bit deeper into it, and you're like, no, how the hell could I compare these two?
That's the other thing too, man. And rap's getting, the bigger rap gets, the harder it is to even like I feel like a lot of times when people make the top, like their top 10 list of rappers, it's like I feel like they exclude a lot of like melodic rappers or people who don't really like, rap a lot. They do a little more like the rap singing. So I wonder where like top 10s and top 20s are going to be like in the future. You know what I mean? Like, are people going to, who are they going to include and not? You know what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like a lot of times people make their list, they never really include anyone that's melodic. I've noticed that. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many artists that I love who are rappers who do implement the melodic stuff, but no one puts them in their top 10s and 20s. And I guess maybe because they need more time to be established and stuff. But I really think it's just because they're not rapping. They're
right. Rap. But the thing is, and the thing that people need to realize is that the lines have blurred. Not they are blurring. The lines have blurred.
Yeah, it's blurred to a point where it's like, what the hell's going on right now?
But I love it. I love it. It's great.
Don't get me wrong, man. You know what I mean? Like I've, today is actually 1 year since I dropped Committed, and it's funny because that project, I was looking back on it, and I was like, based on the Grammys on how they do things, this project is technically a hip hop album. But I look back on it, and I was like, I should have put that shit under pop because the rest of it is not rap at all. You could basically a pop album. I should have put it under pop.
I think so. And also, congratulations. I saw your Instagram post earlier about it.
Yeah.
Huge accomplishment.
It's crazy. To
think,
man.
Great project that you put out, which is awesome.
I haven't put out a project since because I'm like, how do I top this?
I haven't put out a project in... I don't even want to talk about it. Man.
But the last project you dropped was like full length, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I was also like
you dropped a full
19 or 20, and now I'm going to be 25 in January. So I've just been like releasing singles intermittently.
That's fine though. I feel like singles are kind of like I feel like if me or you dropped a full length project like over 13 tracks, like what position are we in to do that? You know
seriously, I feel like it's
that's a
better
bold move.
Seriously, it's like That's what I'm scared of. It's like, I don't want to put all this work in only to, have no one listen to it.
It's like track 10's the best track, but people stopped at track 8, 7. Like, I can't go for that.
Because we're not
That's why I dropped the 8-track EP last year. I don't think, I can't trust people to go through 13 tracks. I don't, you know, I like...
Unless we're as established.
Unless that just is like super established, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, downplaying like anything, like being like, pessimistic. I'm very optimistic about anything I do, and I know you are as well.
Absolutely.
But like at the end of the day, like being an artist, I feel like you just have to be realistic with yourself.
You do.
You gotta take your mind out of how other people think. Some people can't, some people go weeks without listening to a new song. You know what I'm saying? Like people only listen to songs through the radio. Like people like only listen to popular artists. People only listen to not popular artists. Like everyone has their way they consume media, not even just music, media. So I feel,
And the day and age that we live into is just, it's so in your face.
That's what I'm saying.
And if it's not in your face, it's not relevant. It doesn't get registered in the average person's, daily perusing. Like it just doesn't,
like everything's everything's just all in your face nowadays, man. You know what I'm saying? Unless you do a good job with monitoring your social media intake, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's definitely, very important. I try to catch myself not trying to be on social media too much, but I feel like in the field that we're in, it's kind of hard not to.
It's very hard not to.
Like you gotta keep up with everything going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, let's get to another topic because I don't want to waste too much time on that. But let's talk about real quick. Let's talk about Lil Wayne. Now, this kind of goes back to the politics thing, but like, Lil Wayne's girl left him, and a big part of her leaving is because Lil Wayne endorsed Trump. I guess I'll flip it and I'll ask you, Nick, would you ever date a girl, not even just voted for Trump, but would you date a girl who had the polar opposite political views as you?
I couldn't.
You couldn't. Okay.
I don't think I could. I really don't think
she wasn't. She's not like racist, homophobic, but like everything else, I
feel like then.
Like I'm not saying there's a bad person because I don't want to but like there are certain things that Republicans and Democrats will just
constantly just rip on each other for and just we'll never see eye to eye on.
Yeah.
But like at that point, it's like I couldn't be with someone like that because that to me says that they're...
Because you think eventually will probably bubble up into something pretty bad.
Probably, yeah.
You just haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
Exactly. Something will come out...
I don't think I could
when you least expect it, and it's just like... I wouldn't...
Like, I don't hate people for voting on the other side.
No. Yeah. But the thing is...
That's just crazy.
The people... I know. And the
I want to make that clear.
I would like to as well. I would like to as well.
I don't care who you vote for. I really don't. Because people have a billion reasons why they vote. A billion reasons, A
billion. It could be...
Seriously, man.
It could be your family. It could be your occupation. It could be... Again...
Just too many.
There's too many variables to think about. And it... Unless it's blatantly obvious that someone's...
for the wrong reason.
That you're voting for the wrong reasons. I won't judge you. Mm-hmm. Especially if you try to make a good argument, I won't judge you. But that being said... I don't think I could romantically be involved with anyone that would just blindly say,
"Yeah,
I support him." It's like we're not on the same wavelength to begin with.
Yeah.
So like I couldn't see something like that happening because right off the bat it would just be like I don't care how hot you
down.
are.
Like eventually something would blow up, and it would just be like, oh shoot, like we can't be friends anymore. Or like we can't be friends like that no more because this has to stop. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, it's just crazy to see this story out there. It's just this stuff matters to people. You know what I'm saying? Like it's it definitely hits a chord, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's just crazy to see with that picture Lil Wayne was wearing in the picture. So it looked like he just went to the Gap store. It looked bad, bro. It looked bad, man. And then Lil Pump was on stage with Trump and the.
Did you see his whatever the hell he posted? He was like, I'm not going to repeat it because I can't.
Yeah, well, first of all, Lil Pump is the prime example of what someone will do at any cost for clout. Like,
Seriously.
he is the prime example for that. And, you know, back to Kendrick, he has a great line in King Kunta. He's like, and if I got a brown nose for some gold, then I'd rather be a fool than a motherfucking baller. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's like off King Kunta.
Genius, whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, I think I almost got it right. But I mean, like, he's basically saying, like, I would, like, if that's the cost to make money, and I'm not going to make money. Like, where's your integrity at, Lil Pump? Like, this dude got no integrity. He will do whatever it takes to shine,
to stay relevant.
Like, I'll tell you right now, like, if someone was like, well, if Lil Pump wanted to do a song with you, would you do it? No. I'll say it right now. I got more integrity than that, and I know I'm gonna blow up in more ways than a Lil Pump feature. Like, if Lil Pump hit me up right now, what I would do actually to make it worth my while was screenshot it and tell people he hit me up and tell them I said no, and then I'd use that leverage. All right, like, nah, like. Y'all, where's your integrity at, man? Where's the integrity
Seriously.
at, Nick? Where is it, dog?
Is that the episode title? Is that going to be the
That's the episode title.
Where's your integrity?
Where's your integrity, people? Seriously, man, like, what is this?
It's ridiculous. Someone like that, it's just like, and I've heard and seen plenty of criticisms of Lil Pump in particular, of him just casually
J. Cole called him out like a lot.
Dude, he was just like, you're a fucking clown. Like, you're a clown. Like, instead of talking all this shit,
so much
just like, but like, he's a punk.
Yeah,
he's not talented. I'm sorry to say, he's not. I'm not sorry to say, actually, he's not talented, and he's very outspoken. He did get lucky, and
he blatantly got lucky.
And 75% of what people like in his sound, for those who like him, the beat, exactly.
100 on my wrist, 80 on my wrist, 100 on my wrist. And you like that beat when it slams on you, D-Rose. It's hype. I get it.
He did none of that. He did none of that. Yeah. That was all the producer. Had nothing to do with the person.
Yeah, what I will say is what a really, really good beat, you know, to artists, like, we look at like any dope beat like that. It's like, yeah, of course you can make a dope hit out of that. But like there's like, yeah, obviously you could do something over that beat, but not everybody looks at it that way. They don't realize like, oh, I like this beat because, yeah, I like the song because of the beat. They're thinking like it's the artist. You know what I'm saying?
It's subconscious. Yeah, it's on a subconscious level. Very subconscious. Which I get. Like it's hard for me and you to try to see it from, a non-musician's perspective to an average listener's perspective, which ultimately is kind of what matters. Yeah, I know, and it's hard to do, but we have to do it. We have to be able to see it from the perspective of your average listener, and that's hard to do. It is, but
yeah, man. Let's move on to something else. I don't want to talk about Lil Pump and Lil Wayne.
I don't either.
I'll still listen to Lil Wayne's music because I still think he's one of the GOATs.
I think so.
I don't think that's undeniable. But I'll say this. I'll leave it on this note. You shouldn't be surprised Lil Wayne's doing what he's doing. The man literally has a song called Black Republicans, like from the drought back in like 2008. Right? Jesus. So it's been very clear. Like Lil Wayne has been very dissociated. He's been very long gone from what it is to be a black man in America, like an average black man. He doesn't get that. So like, he's been famous forever. So you don't get it. You know what I mean? You don't think of, like it's just very clear. And like, I don't, there's nothing, hate towards Lil Wayne when it comes to that, but that just is what it is,
It is.
He's still the GOAT when it comes to the rapping. But yeah, let's talk about Spotify, man.
Good old streaming services. The bane of my existence.
Dude, Spotify, man. Spotify. Now, Spotify said they will now give your music an algorithm boost in exchange for a lowered promotional recording royalty rate. Now, what does that mean? It means basically you will get paid less than what you are already getting paid per stream. In return of that, you will get more promotion with the song that you put out. And I don't know if y'all know, but artists right now are literally getting paid 0.000001468 cents a stream, ladies and gentlemen. So when you look at it that way, you're going to get paid even less than that just for more promotion.
How can it get less than that?
It can. You can just put some extra zeros at the beginning of the decimal. It's like, oh, I hope y'all can do your math. Get your negative exponents out for this. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy, man. You know,
Don't doubt the greed.
Nah, you can't doubt the greed, man. What do you think this, where do you see, a platform like Spotify, what do you think artists can do to, counter this, because this has nothing to do with the big artists. This has nothing to do with big. This literally has to do with us.
Right.
This is about us. And that's why I promoted this story. I'm like, this literally has to do with artists on our level and in between and kind of all around,
It does. And like, we do, as a collective, there are independent artists that get a lot of attention. They really do. Like,
For sure, man.
It's not just like your friends are listening to it. Like, there are independent artists out there like ourselves that are in it. Like, they are successful, selling out shows.
Play the game, yeah.
But like, you got to ask yourself, it's like, is the promotion worth it for the royalty that you're making? Or it's hard.
It all depends what you're in it for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because exposure is huge. Exposure is big. And we need exposure because before the internet age, you needed a record label to get your name out there.
And to print records and to put it into the Tower Record stores all over the U.S. and all that, yeah.
I mean, granted, a lot of, big artists, especially in New York hip-hop in the 90s, and 80s and 90s. Why did I say it like that? Hip-hop.
Yeah, hip-hop.
I didn't mean to say it. I don't know why I said it. So, like, in 80s and 90s hip-hop, it started on the block, on the corner, in the neighborhood, passing out literal mixtapes, cassettes, and CDs. And then eventually one of those would make its way to a local radio station or a local record label. And then the right person hears it, boom, you got a record deal, boom, you're the next big thing. And today, it's just so easy for us, thankfully, to get our music out there. But it comes at a cost because we don't have a promoter behind us. We don't have a distributor behind us. We are our own promoter. We are our own distributor, which...
You're breaking it down.
It's a lot... Thank you. It's a lot. It's a daunting task to take on, but we do it because this is what we love, and we want to eventually break through whatever that membrane is that will take us to that next step and really get us more exposure. And it's all because we love what we do, not for numbers, not for money. That will come in time, but we need to get to that spot first in order to start thinking about, making money off of it. And unlike a record label, services like TuneCore, or what's the other one?
There's DistroKid. The new one right now, it's really popping right now, is United Masters.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will take that into account. But it's so easy for us to get our music out there on streaming platforms, every single digital marketplace you can possibly imagine, with the click of a button and $10 out of your checking account to get your song out there. That's incentive for independent artists to do it.
Yeah.
And
when you look at it that way, though, man, I feel like, the way you break it down, I feel it's like, you look at how easy it is to do everything. And I think that's, from a business standpoint, if you're looking at just solely business, because at the end of the day, this is a business, the music business, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
When you look at it that way, it's so easy to do this. Like, these record labels aren't even focusing on music. They're focusing on meme pages, bro. They're focusing on TikTok, like, they're not even, like, they're looking at, music isn't even the first thing they're looking at. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're tackling things in such a different way. You know what I mean?
They don't care what the content is.
It's about the algorithm. It's about the, you know what I mean? Like songs don't even have to do too much now. Like, songs don't even have to be like 3 minutes. Like, it used to be 3 minutes forever. Like, there's a certain standard for the longest time. A 3-minute song is, what the people want, and then now it's like, now songs just gotta be shorter because, you just gotta play the streaming game, and the shorter the song, the more people will stream it because it can keep, it doesn't matter how long the song is, from a 2-minute song to a 4-minute song. So might as well make the 2-minute song. It's, easier to...
Exactly. And guess what? If the listener goes up to take a pee, it went on repeat again.
Exactly. Yeah, man, exactly.
Every stream is a dollar sign.
Yeah.
And I don't think we ever finished talking about what Chris Rock said about artists not doing what Kendrick did.
Yeah, they're not making album experiences. I mean, because the album is not really what people are like. Like that's why
Right.
they, an album doesn't have to like be this, like every song flows and like every song is like this,
No.
This vibe. I mean, it can be. It doesn't have to be though. And but I still feel like the album having a great album's dope. But I mean, it's not like you don't need to. You know what I'm saying?
You don't.
You don't really need to, but like. But I think a lot of the thing nowadays, it's like, a lot of albums are long, but that's because they're playing the game. Like the longer the album, the more streams it gets because it's longer and that's going to get you more money, more songs. Like 22 tracks on an album, bam, I got this many people. Like no matter how many tracks I put on this project, they're going to listen to all the songs. More money, put more songs in the album.
True.
Like that's the only reason these artists put songs in the album because obviously some of these artists, if they really wanted to get in their creative bag, they just put out, whatever feels right to their heart. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah,
But
the
that's not
labels
the game.
don't see it like that.
That's not the game.
It's not.
Everything is business when you look at it. So like, when you see Spotify doing this, it isn't oh my God, they're evil. It's the business, man. And that's why you have certain platforms like Tidal.
They're making a chess move.
They're making a chess
all
move.
they're doing.
They're making a chess move. And it's up to us as artists to be kind of ahead of the curve and to just make sure how do we make the best of this? How do we
adjust? How do we adapt?
How do we all that, dude? All that, man.
Without sacrificing the quality of our art.
Yeah.
And it's tough to do.
It's extremely tough.
It's so
you really
much
have to like
balance.
readjust like all the time. Like it's never really like you might have a game plan of how you do it, and the next thing you know, like can't do it like that no more. You know what I mean? Like, literally,
And it sucks, especially when it's all you've ever known. Mm-hmm. And then albeit small adjustments when it comes to market changes, music industry changes. It's usually not huge leaps in difference, but it's enough to make you adjust your workflow, your everyday approach to making music.
Yeah,
it trickles down.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
It always finds its way back to the artist.
Yeah,
and vice versa.
Mm-hmm. It always does, man. I think that's why it's such a interesting position to be an artist, and there's so many different ways to go about it. So I'm not gonna, tell anybody, what they should and shouldn't do. But I think the reason why I had to bring up this, Spotify news is just that you got, everyone's got to understand, like, the game is literally changing right in front of us, and it's so blatant. Like this headline is so blatant, like Lee telling you like things are changing. Like find different ways to go about it. And just keep learning about just music business stuff with the streaming services because it's a very new thing. And it's like
advertising.
They just figured it out. Like the algorithms, the advertising, the streaming platforms, they just figured this out like 4 years ago. So you best believe they're gonna get it cranking this whole decade. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I bet a lot of the reason why they're proposing this and gonna do this is because
it's gonna happen.
They're gonna make more money off of the advertisers.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
That's what it's gonna come down to. Mm-hmm. Is they're gonna make more money off of advertising and like investors than they would off of the artist streaming revenue. Mm-hmm. And however that correlates to getting more exposure as an artist and receiving less as an artist, it obviously correlates in some capacity, or else they wouldn't go about this.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly there's a reason. And the biggest streaming service in the world wouldn't go for something like that if especially if they didn't see in the foreseeable future that it wouldn't benefit them. They're doing this because in the foreseeable future it will benefit them.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's our job as artists to adapt to that. As much as we hate it. Mm-hmm. But eventually things will level out again.
Exactly, man. I will say this, man. This is, there's a reason why Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. The reason why he sold the $100 album. There's a reason why he did that. You know, because the value of music, you know, we're seeing it, you know, literally not become anything anymore. So, you know, it's all the artists out there. You got to figure out how do you, you know, incentivize yourself? How do you monetize yourself? You know, because, you know, you can still do it off the streams, but you just got to figure out the game is all, man. That's really, you know, and figure out your own way. Like, that's why I bring up the Nipsey Hussle thing. Like, that's such a unique way to play the game, you know, and you'll get ahead in some form or fashion. Yeah.
Definitely. And also, it all comes down to, where do you see yourself in terms of integrity?
Yeah.
Integrity.
Yeah, the integrity
is what it comes down to.
No, and it's the integrity and just like, you know, what do you want out of it too? You know, but integrity.
True.
Yeah, you also go back to integrity, you know, because, you know, it's what you stand by is what you stand by. Yeah. Yeah, so I feel you on that, man. Let's talk about one more thing on this list here, man. Kind of wanted to just address, you know, the fusion that you know, I feel like every couple of, you know, I feel like there's 2 times I can, you know, say, you know, we've seen like a good mix of rap and rock. You know, it's the whole, you know, Run DMC with you know, Aerosmith, and then, you know, Public Enemy and Anthrax. You know, there was that.
Linkin Park and Jay-Z.
Linkin Park and Jay-Z. You know, I was thinking way back. I don't know why. Yeah, boom. Thank God you mentioned that. And I think, you know,
I always have.
Yeah, you know, but that one's such a good one. I mean, goddamn, yeah. But you know, you've seen these collabs, but I feel like, you know, we're at the point now where it's just like, you know, stuff's gonna blend a lot more, you know, in unison better than that. And I feel like it makes me want to just address, you know, kind of MGK, Juice WRLD, you know, Trippie Redd even, you know, they bring like a certain like rock vibe, you know, you know, I just want to, you know, ask you, because I feel like, you know, you have definitely listened to, you know, more of the punk going on nowadays, you know, the rock scene going on now. How much do you think, you know, rock and punk are coming together right now in this, you know, age?
Incredibly, like exponentially. I've used that word a lot throughout, like exponents and exponentially, because things are, you know, that's the way that things are now. It's just like it's exploding. Things are exploding, and I feel like
it's coming back
around.
Know,
exactly. Pop punk, the genre of pop punk, is making such a comeback, but with a new skin. Is like is how I like to describe it. You know, for example, MGK's album that he just put out is a pop punk album, but
I mean, he's still MGK. So
exactly, very.
He's still MGK, man.
Exactly,
rapper, and
exactly.
Drop that. Like I gotta put some respect on that. And he even addressed it. He's like, yo, y'all, like nobody's gonna talk about how I did this, considering the whole career I had.
Seriously.
Like, come on now. You know, and you know, I think, you know, from someone like me, I feel like, you know, I haven't listened to a lot of new rock recently. I've tried to like keep an eye out for it, but I haven't. But I feel like
I Prevail.
Yeah. You told me I Prevail, an unreal band, like unreal. I love that band. But like I feel like, you know, I have seen people like make fun of the MGK album. But like for the most part, man, like everyone loves it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like he definitely needs to get his respect on that. You know, obviously, you know, R.I.P. Juice WRLD. You know, like you know, he's doing this thing too. But I really think that, you know, there's definitely gonna be a big resurgence when it comes to that. Like, and I think I don't know if you ever heard of you know you ever heard of Mario Judah?
No.
Oh my god. I almost feel like I want to play this for you right now just to see what you think.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, let me play this right now. So like, this is like the prime example of like mixing. Let me just play it.
Play it on your mic and I'll.
Yeah. Let's do it. It's called Die Very Young.
Wait. Hold
the lyrics, yeah. That
fuck
so
up.
he blew up off of TikTok because like the lyric, you know, fine, you know, the way he says it is very like, you know,
it sounds
like it could be racist,
dude.
It's, you know, he's black.
It sounds like System of a Down got a black lead singer.
That's what I'm saying. But it's not bad though. It's not.
No.
That's the thing. But like people were like laughing at it. But I was like, all right, let's be
actually kind of brilliant.
It's not that bad. But I'm like, a guy like this, and then you even look at, you know, Old Town Road. You know, I know it's country, but like, I feel like it's easy to laugh at things and look at it gimmicky, but if you kind of like look closely, the shit's really good. You know what I mean? Like, if you look closely,
it's like ingenuitive. Like it's very.
And I think from there you can reconstruct.
And guess what? People have started doing that. There's this song. Did I send you that song, Beer?
Beer.
Beer.
Is it by? Is this name of the song Beer?
Yeah. So this is a Southern guy trying to do a song, or not. It's actually not bad, but it's a country song, but a rap song.
See, he got the twang on there and everything, man. Like I know sometimes people might look, some of these songs and get a chuckle. Like, I was laughing at that, Mario Judah song. I was laughing at the song. You were playing a little bit, regardless. At the end of the day, there's more good stuff to the song than there is bad. You know what I'm saying? Like by a long shot, and the ingenuity of it, like something just new and different. Like I really think, that always sparks something in people, and I think from that you can go from there.
Exactly.
It's the same thing that Jay-Z said about Yeezus. He said the same thing about Yeezus. He was like, yeah, like people can, say whatever they want, but people are going to take from that.
And they did
their own version. And look what happened. Like Yeezus and 808s, even that too, Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
yeah, definitely. And then
it's crazy, man.
Yeah, and you look at a band like Linkin Park. I feel like I have to mention them every single fucking time I'm on this podcast. Man, I don't know why.
It's Linkin Park.
It's Linkin Park.
I mention Kendrick all the time. There's certain artists I mention all the time. It's no biggie.
Yeah.
But what about? What are you gonna say though?
So like,
just like what they did in general. Like they had a song with Busta Rhymes too. So I mean, they always
Together we made.
Yeah, they've always been in the rap world. You know what I'm saying?
Especially with Mike on the rapping.
Yeah,
Mike Shinoda.
Mike Shinoda always been on his tip with that. You know what I'm saying? I bet if you ask him, his, his influences. He's gonna tell you, a lot of rap artists and stuff.
Yeah, I mean the song "When They Come for Me," all his verses are about being a student to the game of hip hop, and then Chester comes in with the friggin' metal.
Yeah,
on the chorus.
just going
like,
in. Yeah,
he's like, yeah,
just going in, man. No, that's dope, man.
They were the first They were the first band to do rap, rock, and nu metal correctly.
I mean, Hybrid Theory. I mean, everything they just. Their whole influence on the game, man.
Yeah, it speaks for itself.
It definitely speaks for itself, man. And I've definitely, when it comes to the blending of all the genres, man, it's you can credit them to really keeping it going, especially in the last 20 years, because all the examples I mentioned were before. We got to go back further.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
So they were like the new.
There's not so many mainstream rock bands anymore. The last one I can tell you is Imagine Dragons, and they collabed with Kendrick, but that that was at the Grammys. You know what I mean? But like, there's not really, but because now like the artists are just implementing a rock style. They don't need the rock band. They're already singing like a rock star. You know what I mean? Like what you would consider. Some of these guys are implementing it. So I think it's dope to see, man. A lot of stuff are breaking through that people are laughing at, but I think at the end of the day, you're gonna see something. Happen this decade, and that's gonna be like, wow,
exactly.
Look at what we're listening to now.
And the people that are actually gonna be laughing are the ones that we were laughing at.
Exactly. Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly, yo. Yeah, man. Yeah. For sure, man. Well, Nick, it's a really good episode, man.
Yeah. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
Always love talking. We always got good stuff to say.
So. Yeah, there's just so much in here we talk about. I'd be making the clips. I don't even know I can make a clip for it because we just tackled so much.
I know.
We talked about so much. How long have we been running for? What we got? Oh, God. Like we're past an hour?
I have it in bars, not seconds.
Yeah, it don't matter, but we're going to wrap it up regardless, man.
Oh, we just hit an hour.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're wrapping it up regardless. Nick, is there anything you want to plug for the people before we get out of here, man?
I'm in music school now at UMass Lowell studying composition and sound engineering. Aside from that, I put out my song No Surrender.
Check that out, y'all. Check that out.
Over the spring.
We ain't never heard nothing like it before. It's a dope ass track. Check it out.
Thank you very much. And then there's 2 songs that we collaborated on over the summer as well. One of them being yours, Save Us.
Yeah, man.
Which was really fun to be on. Really cool track. Great thing that you produced. Like it was a really well produced.
I don't know how I did it.
Good song. I don't know either. I was like, I was blown away.
It'll be a long time for me to recreate an EDM.
Seriously. And then we had the Kickback, which is something that we had been toying with. It's probably the happiest song I've ever made. It's definitely like a summer vibe.
Most definitely a summer vibe. Yeah.
Drinking, partying type of vibe. And both of us just really had fun with it. It's a fun song.
Really
and I
is.
think people will really like that. So check it out. The Kickback by Nick Torch and not the AM, Amir Max. God.
There was a time we would say that together because we had like the run. So like it was Nick Torch and the AM, yeah. Nick Torch and Amir Max. We got 2 songs out like this year too. That's crazy, man.
More to come.
Yeah, and more to come too, y'all. So definitely stay in tune with that. We always got something in the tuck. You know what I'm saying? But definitely. Nick, thank you very much for making this happen. This is your place, so I appreciate you having us record here, man.
Thank you for coming to Nick Torch Studios.
Nick Torch Studios, y'all.
All right, y'all. Thanks for having me again, man.
No problem, man. I really appreciate it, dog. Ladies and gentlemen, episode 82 of the TempahZone podcast. Make sure to tune next week for another one. All right? Peace.